Have you ever wondered why certain men seem to attract women with ease? It's not because of their appearance, wealth, or social standing. Rather, it's because of the way they communicate. Elevated worth. Men possess a powerful tool that may surprise you. Their words have a lasting effect on women, causing them to be missed even if they are gone for a short while. I'm going to tell you exactly how to talk to a woman so that she will think of you long after you've left. Pay close attention because this will alter the way you interact with women going forward. First impressions have the power to create a lasting impression. First impressions lay the groundwork for high-value men to create a sense of intrigue and longing. But most guys make the mistake of focusing too much on making an immediate impact on women, whether it be through flashy storytelling, physical attractiveness, or overbearing charm. Elevated worth. But men are aware that the goal of the first talk isn't to win her over. Rather, it's to leave a subtle, long-lasting impression on her. The key is in the way a man makes a woman feel during that initial exchange. High-value men are aware that women are significantly more sensitive to emotions than men are. They can read body language, tone of voice, and even the energy you create. These clues can tell you whether or not a woman will remember you long after the conversation finishes. The confidence language that is not spoken. The essence of a high-value man is in his self-perception and sense of worth, which enables him to approach any circumstance with confidence and maintain a straight posture. His methodical motions and composed speech, he doesn't speak incoherently or fill the space with words. Each one is chosen with purpose. This leisurely pace forces her to focus, and speaking slowly and confidently communicates to her subconscious that you are in charge. Being deliberate and intentional instead of loud or strong is what defines confidence. Men who don't feel the need to prove themselves to women are more attractive to them. When quiet is handled wisely, it may be one of your biggest advantages. Elevated worth. Men don't mind taking breaks in conversation. These times allow her to think and process what has been said, leaving a void that she will want to fill by carrying on the conversation. Women find emotional control attractive because they are programmed to look to men for stability and security. Elevated worth. Men display emotional stability by managing their responses. If she teases or challenges you, don't react angrily. Instead, laugh it off or make it into a light-hearted challenge. This demonstrates that you're not easily rattled, which is a very alluring emotional trait. Resilience indicates that you are capable of handling pressure, which is a quality that women instinctively look for in a relationship. Every interaction presents a high-value man with the chance to demonstrate emotional maturity, which makes an impression that lasts. If you are not reactive, she will perceive you as different. Someone who sticks out from the throng of males who are easily offended or have a defensive mindset. You're cool, collected, and most importantly, self-assured with small gestures that convey a lot. Elevated worth. Men understand that small gestures may convey far more than words, so they don't rely on flashy displays to make an impression. Small gestures like holding her hand, maintaining composure, or grinning at her when she speaks can have a big impact. High-value men exude warmth and control through small, deliberate gestures that maintain eye contact, nodding to indicate you're listening, or keeping your hands relaxed and never fidgeting too. The mystery factor in today's world of oversharing on social media is an underappreciated art in dating. Women often read body language more than men realize. Men are aware that giving away too much information too quickly ruins the suspense and intrigue of a conversation. Women are naturally drawn to things they don't fully understand, and when something is unclear or only partially revealed, our brains seek clarification, causing us to become fixated on it and fix it. High-value men take advantage of this from the outset by providing just enough information to pique her interest, but not enough to satisfy her curiosity. For instance, if she asks what you do for a living, you might reply, "It's a little complicated, but I enjoy it." The trick is to be purposeful with your ambiguous high value. That brief response leaves her with additional questions, which causes her to ponder about you later and repeat the interaction in her head. Men utilize ambiguity to keep the conversation flowing rather than avoiding queries because they find them annoying. For example, if she asks about your hobbies or favorite pastime, you should leave some things unsaid rather than giving an exhaustive list of everything you could possibly say. I've been working on a fascinating project that I'll tell you about later. This statement leaves her perplexed and eager for our next conversation. Being mysterious doesn't mean being evasive. Rather, it means evoking a sense of depth. The less you divulge, the more her mind fills in the blanks. Strategic quietness is another aspect of mystery, understanding when to keep quiet. Although uncomfortable, silence has great significance. Men thrive in silent times where they let tension to build. If you constantly fill in the blanks, you never give her time to process her feelings after making a compelling statement or raising a worthwhile question. Men. Allowing silence to persist encourages her to think about the discussion more thoroughly. This fosters an intimate moment that words cannot match. It takes patience to win the long game. The best results come from combining mystery with patience. Elevated worth. Men play the long game, understanding that a slow burn is frequently more powerful than instant attraction. She will want to know more about you every time you interact, and this gradual revelation builds tension and anticipation, making her miss you even more when you're not around. 3 emotional impact words are cheap. Men don't try to reveal everything in the first few meetings. Anyone is able to put a few sentences together. The capacity to elicit strong feelings from others during every engagement is what distinguishes high-value men. It's not just about what you say. Elevated worth men. They don't waste time on small talk. Instead, they quickly pivot into deeper, more meaningful discussions by asking questions that get to the heart of her values. They create emotional highs and lows within the conversation. This emotional roller coaster keeps her engaged and invested. Recognize that women are emotional creatures, and that how you make her feel during a conversation is far more important than the content of the conversation itself. Asking her questions that cause her to reflect and feel valuable is one of the best methods to elicit strong feelings in her. Men don't inquire about little things like your favorite color or the most thrilling thing you've done in the previous year. Instead, they ask about a passion of yours that most people are unaware of. These kinds of inquiries drive the discussion further and compel her to consider her feelings, forging a bond through the use of narrative to arouse feeling. Great regard for guys employ storytelling to elicit strong feelings in the audience. These aren't just any stories, they are carefully constructed to arouse particular feelings, such as a sense of adventure. You may demonstrate your vulnerability by telling a tale of an impromptu journey. You may discuss conquering a personal obstacle. Making these tales emotionally and relatably relevant is crucial. It's not about impressing her. It's about forging an emotional bond that she will carry with her long after the conversation ends. Music, creating emotional hooks. High-value men are skilled at planting these hooks, which can take the form of a well-timed compliment, a playful tease, or a shared laugh. These moments make sure she remembers the exchange. For example, you could say, "I love how passionate you are about topic." This kind of flattery, which emphasizes her character and is uncommon to encounter with such zeal, makes her character much more relevant. The force of absence, comprehending the push-pull phenomenon. The push-pull is one of the strongest instruments used by high-value men. Dynamic learns the skill of being emotionally present in the moment, but then taking a step back when they realize that too much of anything, including attention, can lessen its effect. They make space after a wonderful conversation, not for games, but because they understand the importance of being absent, so that the lady may think back on the exchange, replaying it in her head and wondering why she misses him. Excessive communication deters attractiveness. Instant messaging makes it simple to fall into the trap of constant communication in today's environment, yet excessive communication can sour a relationship. Elevated worth. The art of leaving her wanting more. High-value men end a conversation or interaction at a high point. leaving her wanting more. For example, after a great conversation, instead of staying until it dies down, you might say, "I've got to run, but I'd love to continue this conversation another time." This leaves her looking forward to the next interaction and thinking about you in the interim. Men understand that attraction thrives in the space between interactions. They might wait a few hours before replying to a text, or let a day pass before reaching out. 5. Restarting. One of the most important aspects of the process is learning the skill of timing re-engagement. Elevated worth men are deliberate about when and how they reconnect. Rather than rushing things, they wait for the proper opportunity and frequently do so in a way that alludes to the original discussion. For instance, if you had discussed a mutual passion, you might send a message saying, "I came across this article regarding the topic, and it brought back memories of our recent talk." It indicates that you were considering her and carries on the discourse about something in which she has already put 6 months of her time. Making a distinctive emotional impression that makes you stand out from the crowd. High-value men set themselves apart by crafting distinctive emotional moments. This is about the quality of the interaction, not about lavish dates or extravagant displays. They have the ability to take everyday subjects and transform them into fascinating conversations, whether it's talking about a favorite book or a chance observation. They bring energy and curiosity to every interaction, which makes their presence feel exciting and rejuvenating. Adding a personal touch to the encounter is one approach to make an impression and stand out. Elevated worth men. Recall specifics from past conversations with a woman and use them to strengthen the bond. For instance, if she mentions that she enjoys a certain cuisine, you could recommend a restaurant that serves it or bring up a dish you recently tried. This kind of attention to detail demonstrates that you are genuinely interested in getting to know her rather than just the idea of challenging her in a lighthearted manner. It's not about being combative, but rather creating a lively, engaging exchange that makes her enjoy the conversation more balancing. Men aren't afraid to playfully challenge a woman's ideas or opinions. Of course, they don't just agree with everything she says to win her favor. Instead, they offer thoughtful counterpoints or tease her lightly. This playful challenge makes the interaction dynamic and keeps her on her toes. Depth and lightness, even while meaningful, in-depth discussions are crucial elevated worth. Men also know when to have fun and keep things lighthearted. They can go between serious conversations and lighthearted banter with ease, which results in a well-balanced emotional exchange. She feels at ease and involved because of this blend of depth and lightness, which makes their time together feel special and unforgettable. 7 high values of consistency and honesty that foster respect and trust. Men recognize that attractiveness isn't enough to create a long-lasting relationship. Instead, trust and respect are essential. They also exhibit integrity by doing and speaking with integrity. If they promise to do something, they follow through on their commitment. Encourages a feeling of safety and deference that strengthens the emotional bond. Being dependable and highly valuable is one of the easiest yet most effective methods to establish trust. Men don't make empty promises. If they say they'll call or meet up, they follow through. This constancy demonstrates to women that men are immensely beautiful and trustworthy, qualities that are sometimes absent from many contemporary dating encounters. Observing limits and having sincere high regard. Men are genuine in their interactions. They don't pretend to be someone they're not. This authenticity resonates deeply because it's refreshing to encounter someone who is comfortable in their own skin. 8 escalating attraction. Knowing when and how to progress while high value. Men also respect a woman's boundaries, both emotional and physical. Instead of pushing or pressuring, they let things unfold naturally. Men understand that attraction is both physical and emotional, and they expertly navigate both realms, recognizing and responding to signals. They are also patient and know when to escalate attraction. They avoid becoming friends because they aren't afraid to show their romantic interest. They balance playful teasing and deep connection with subtle, appropriate physical cues like light touches or holding eye contact longer. Elevated worth men are perceptive of women's cues and can tell when a woman is comfortable and interested. If she leans in or makes prolonged eye contact, they may escalate with a light touch on her arm while sharing a story. If she appears hesitant or closed off, they will back off and give her space. This sensitivity to her comfort levels is essential for developing a strong bond with her and expressing your intentions. Instead of hiding behind friendship or ambiguous compliments, men communicate their romantic interest with clarity and respect. For instance, instead of saying "you're really nice," they might say, "I've really enjoyed getting to know you, and I'd like to see where this could go." Clarity clears up any confusion and demonstrates to her his self-assurance and deliberate nature. 9 expectations to manage the high value of balance art. Men are good at managing expectations. They don't mess with a woman's emotions or make grand promises too soon. Instead, they strike a balance between demonstrating interest and upholding their own standards and boundaries. This harmony produces a situation in which a lady feels appreciated and knows that he won't put up with rudeness or a lack of music. Reciprocity in expressing limits and highly valued. When something doesn't feel right with a man, he sets and communicates his boundaries early on. If she cancels plans at the last minute, for instance, he can remark, "I understand. Things happen, but I value my time, so in the future, I'd prefer a little more notice." This kind of straightforward communication builds rapport and guarantees that she is aware of his expectations. Having no fear of leaving high-value guys possess a significant quality. They aren't afraid to leave settings where things don't live up to their expectations. They understand that upholding their dignity is more crucial than pursuing an unsuitable partner. This does not imply that they flee at the first hint of problems. Rather, it means that they know when a situation isn't worthwhile and move on regretfully. This self-assuredness is quite appealing since it demonstrates that he loves himself and won't accept anything less than what he deserves. In constructing a story. The history of us. High-value men emphasize shared experiences and moments of connection, framing them as parts of a developing tale, which enhances the tie between them and the woman. This story gives the partnership a special, one-of-a-kind flavor that they can both reflect on and value as their recalling intimate events or inside jokes strengthens the bond. Elevated worth men foster a sense of intimacy and companionship. For example, they might reminisce about a fun night they had when they got caught in the rain after dinner. These shared experiences serve as touchstones in the relationship, strengthening the bond and giving the woman a sense of belonging to a special and developing music story. Fostering expectation for the high value to come. Men also instill a sense of expectation for adventures to come. For instance, they can jokingly bring up a destination or activity they'd want to do together, and sow the seed for future shared adventures. "I saw this art exhibit that opens in a month, and I think you'd love it. Maybe we should check it out?" His forward-thinking approach demonstrates his interest in creating something beyond the present, which makes her look forward to their interactions and experiences in the future. 11th, maintain your own life. This is the foundation of a high-value man. What makes high-value men so attractive is their rich, fulfilling lives, independent of romantic relationships. They have their own goals, passions, and social circles. They don't seek out a mate to complete them. Instead, they seek a partner who enhances their already satisfying lives. This independence fosters a healthy dynamic where they aren't unduly invested in any one outcome, making them even more attractive. This pursuit of personal excellence makes them intriguing and attractive as they are constantly evolving and achieving. It also means they aren't available at a moment's notice, which naturally creates a sense of mystery and value around their time and attention, while they value connection. High-value men prioritize their passions and interests, whether it's a career hobby or personal growth. They dedicate time to what fulfills them. Elevated worth. This balance between connection and independence is important because it shows a woman that, while he values her, he also values himself and his time. This creates a dynamic where she feels respected and appreciated but also intrigued and drawn to be a part of his exciting life. Men also maintain their independence. They don't drop everything for someone they're interested in. Instead, they continue to live their life to the fullest.